Well, hello, and welcome to a speed paint that has a voiceover. I'm really tired of getting copyright strikes against me for videos that only have like 5 views. So you have to deal with my voice again. So today I'm doing what I'm calling a color and review speed paint. If you're on Instagram, you may have seen these things floating around. Basically what it does is you enter your Instagram information and they give you a little chart that shows the colors that you've posted basically on your account throughout the past year or so. They give you little round circles of color based off of like what's dominant in your images. I really like it as an artist because it shows what colors I'm using. I pointed out one color to my partner. I'm like, hey, I really like this pinkish red color. And he looked me dead in the eye and said, that's Nahiri's skin color. So I do think I actually use it in this drawing as well. So that says a lot about me. First of all, though, I kind of just want to talk a little bit about what my 2019 is going to look like, and then I'm going to launch into what my 2018 looked like, and then I'm going to talk about some goals that I have for 2019 creatively. Going to be a little bit all over the place. This is my first time really doing audio for a speed paint, and I have about 20 minutes to fill, so let's see what I can come up with. So first of all, I just want to talk about the life-changing event that's happened to me in 2019, and we're not even a month in. So you may be aware, you might follow me on Instagram, but my cat was diagnosed with diabetes. It's a lot to take in for me, at least personally. A lot of people that I've told have just sort of been like, okay, yeah, she's an older cat, that makes sense. She is 12 years old, so yeah, it does make sense. But there's a little bit more to it for me in particular. My mom's family has a history of diabetes. She is the only one of her siblings out of like 7 siblings that doesn't have it yet. Nor have my brother or I been diagnosed with it. And I actually had a friend growing up in like elementary school that just as she was reaching teenagerhood, she was actually diagnosed with diabetes as well. So it's kind of always been around me. And I have always been absolutely terrified of it. I hate needles with a burning passion. They hurt. I don't care what anyone says. They hurt like hell, and I hate them. So I'm scared of them. And diabetes is constant needles. So going into that vet visit and just knowing in my gut that she had this and that I was going to have to give her needles gave me so much anxiety that I caught a cold. So my 2019 hasn't been off to a great start. Everything is fine with my cat. We are getting into the habit of figuring out the needles and the feeding and all that sort of fun stuff. We have more vet visits coming up. But yeah, everything is going well. It just really didn't start my 2019 off very well, to be completely honest. Which, I mean, what you gonna do about it, I guess, really. Every year sucks to some extent, and I guess 2019's just being upfront about it. So, that's the perfect segue to talk about how much 2018 sucked. Haha! Great. So, for those of you that may know me, you know that my 2018 didn't get off to a very great start either, because just at the end of 2017, I ended up having a huge falling out with some of the guys I played D&D with. And I retired a couple characters that I really enjoyed, Nahiri included, as well as Marvella and Secret, who you may have seen. Actually, I have speed paints of both of them on this channel. Probably copyright stricken? Demonetized. Not that I'm monetized at all, but you know. Anyways, so I had to retire these characters. That's inspired me quite a bit, and honestly, D&D was the main reason that I was making art at the time. So, had a falling out with guys that I played D&D with in 2017. Didn't have a real life game to be playing in because I'd also had a falling out with them. Creatively, I was just broken. Artists talk a lot about what you may know as artist block. So I'd never really dealt with art block before, aside from like a few days or maybe a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks at most, where I wasn't happy with what I was making, or I didn't know what to make or whatever, and was like, oh, I've got art block, haha, relatable artist feels. But no, 2018 decided I was going to have a real art block. a real 6 months or so worth of hating everything I made. Like, absolutely despising it. Like, nothing looked right. Everything was wonky, and my ideas weren't good, and it was one of the scariest moments of my life. Mid-July is when I posted the first thing on Instagram that I had done in a while that I actually liked. So, scariest moment of my life. Because I had spent so many years, so long, in art school and saying, oh, I want to be an artist when I grow up and all that sort of thing. And, like, it's easy to say that you want to be an artist when you like what you're making and you know what you want to make. It's so hard to say, yes, I'm an artist. But I've hated everything I've created for the past 6 months. So, 2018, at least half of it, really wasn't that great for me, to be completely honest. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. 2018 was a really shitty year for a lot of people, for various reasons. But it was the latter half of 2018 that really, I think, defined me as a person. I eventually broke the art block, like I mentioned, with some Steven Universe fan art. I don't even know what I did. I was off for about a week. I had actually originally taken the time off work at the museum to be able to teach a summer camp, and no one signed up for my summer camp. Yay. That also makes you feel great as an artist when people are like, oh yeah, we want to take classes from you, and then as soon as you have classes, no one signs up. Lovely. But yeah, so I had about a week off, and I just sort of sat down and was like, fuck it. I'm going to spend 3 days on this one piece and learn a bunch of stuff as I'm working on it. And it turned out really great, and I'm really happy with it. And from then on out, I've loved almost everything that I've done for the past couple months of 2018. I went back and drew a lot more like fan art. I love this little blushing thing that I've started doing, and you're gonna see it on this one, and then seeing it in like a Netflix original series. It's actually very similar to the style of the Dragon Prince, how they have blushes on their cheek and then over their nose. I love it. It's cute. It's adorable. I love it. But 2018 kind of just proved to me that I have to keep working, and it's something that I've always known, but it's nice to be validated, you know? So yeah, that was my 2018. I had set some art goals. I'm not gonna lie, I did not achieve them at all. Art resolutions for 2018. I had 4. I had 4 of these things, and I managed to do none of them. So first one was draw more shoes. Did not do that. Number 2 was create a series, which I mean I kinda did if you count Inktober. But like, that was a challenge. Does that really count as a series? Number 3 was update social media regularly. No, I did not do that. I got a little bit better. Like, I like updating Instagram, but updating Twitter and Facebook and Patreon is a lot harder. I could just set things up so that they like automatically like share across platforms, but I don't know. They all have different like tagging systems and that sort of thing, so like I feel like I need to do them differently. So I didn't really do that. And then number 4 was treat art like a business. I kind of tried for the first couple months. I was teaching art classes and I was like keeping track of all my receipts and all that sort of stuff, but like, I wasn't really doing enough to really treat it like a business. All in all, trash resolutions. We're going to start again. So here's actually the point of this video, and I'm going to talk about some 2019 creative goals. I'm not calling them resolutions this time, I'm calling them creative goals, which is kind of backwards because they're not even goals, they're just ideas of what I want to do for 2019. But you know, whatever. So I have my little bullet journal in front of me. I have a creative goals spread. I also have a personal goals spread, but I haven't completely filled that out because, again, I got sick for like almost 2 weeks right at the beginning of January because my cat has diabetes, and I stressed myself out over it. That's going to be my excuse from here on out, just so you know. So, looking at my creative goals for 2019. Very top of my list, not that these are in any particular order, but at the very top of my list is create more environments. So, this image is definitely very guilty of that, and I'm very guilty of this in general, of where I just sort of draw floating people, like they're just standing there, or they're just sitting, and like, that's great, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, and because a lot of my dreams / goals growing up, and like, but like all throughout like high school and stuff, I always wanted to be a character designer, Not that this is like necessarily anything to do with character design. Like, they don't just draw static standing people or anything like that all the time, but like, I just mean in general, I focus more on the character than I do on the background. And I don't want to draw backgrounds. I want to introduce more elements that sort of show where a character is or what they're doing. This could be like introducing more props. This could be just drawing in chairs for once. Just sort of little things like that. I also have in here, which is not related to drawing, but it is a creative goal, so I'm going to talk about it anyways. I have something that says, sew more. So one of the things that you might not know about me is that I also do a lot of sewing. I'm a big believer in having at least 2 different like practices. So for me, drawing is it's my main practice, but it's not very tactile. Sewing involves a lot more like physical effort on my part, so like my hands moving around, getting up, cutting things, measuring things, all that. It's a lot more physical. I feel that for myself, that's very important to be able to have something that allows me to be physical when my brain's just not working to do the less physical work. So I also have little projects specifically that I want to sew. I want to make more of my own clothes. I also want to make more costumes. I really want to get back into cosplay, and I sort of tried last year to try and create a Jester cosplay from Critical Role, but I was just not in a good place mentally, and so I didn't finish that. I also have that I want to make more gifts. I want to make things for people, like even if it's just little dinky dice bags and stuff like that. I want to work on more making stuff for other people. And finally, I also need to really need to finish these stockings. My family for Christmas really gets into the stockings, and so when we were younger, we had some that my grandma had made when my brother and I were really young, and we just outgrew them. They were just too small for our family to stuff with gifts. So I've been promising for about 2 years now that I would actually make new stockings out of like pajamas and stuff that we've received for Christmas over the years. I've never gotten around to it. I want to get around to it this year. I want to finish those, at least for me and my partner. I also have on here that I want to work on color theory, and color theories might not be the right word. I want to play with color a little bit more, and I think this drawing is a really good example of that, of playing around with colors in a way that I normally wouldn't. Particularly, I've been really enjoying not using solid black for the lines. And so yeah, I just kind of want to play with juxtaposing colors and like highlights and shadows and that sort of thing. Like, I went to art school. I do know the basics of this sort of stuff, but I never actually put it into practice. So I want to work on that quite a bit. In a similar vein, I want to work on learning more Adobe programs. I pay for the entire Creative Cloud, and considering just hearing about their price hike, I'm kind of regretting that, but like, I have it, I'm going to stick with it, and I want to learn more of them. So really all I know is Photoshop, and even then I don't know all of the even then I don't know everything that Photoshop can do. So I would like to like learn a little bit more about that, play with more filters, and like play with all the layer stuff, because I definitely don't play with that enough. But I also want to learn more about Premiere. I want to learn more about InDesign. I want to learn more about Illustrator. I just want to learn more. If I'm paying for the entire Creative Cloud, I might as well get some use out of it. Another thing I want to work on this year is I want my style to get a little bit faster, a little bit sketchier, a little bit looser. I'm really happy with actually how this image turned out in that sense, because I got really sketchy with it and like did not refine it nearly as much as I would normally. If you are aware of my art, you know that I'm generally a very graphic, very bold, very cartoony type of person. And while there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, and I still like how that looks, I want to loosen up a little bit more. I feel like my work could be pushed a little bit more if I was a little bit looser with it. One of the issues that I did have quite a bit last year is everything ended up looking a little bit too stiff and a little bit too overworked, and I think that loosening up will definitely help that quite a bit. Another creative goal I have is I want to work more on hand lettering. I don't know, I've always just kind of been interested in hand lettering. I've always been kind of interested in like sign painting and that sort of thing, and I have some experience with it because we do like chalkboards at the museum that have like information about our events and that sort of thing. And I feel like I have a fairly good feel for composition of hand lettering, but the actual fonts themselves I'm not really good at, so I'd like to work on that a little bit more. Especially because like I do enjoy putting words into my drawings, but I've been avoiding it so much lately because I just hate how my writing looks. So I want to work on like just hand lettering in general. And then here, right in the dead center of this page, I have in big, bright, orange, bold, it just says draw shoes, damn it. Because I said I was going to work on shoes last year, and I didn't. So I want to work on more shoes. I also have just under it, I have like a little arrow saying, also clothing. This is part of environments to me. This gives a little bit more context as to where this person is, who they are, what they do, all of that sort of fun information. I also have here, I want to write more. I would love to actually finish NaNoWriMo for the first time. I've done Inktober 3 times now. I think maybe this year I might focus a little bit more on NaNoWriMo. Who am I kidding? I'm still going to focus on Inktober. I love Inktober, but it'd be nice to actually complete NaNoWriMo for once, you know? I also have in here, write a comic strip. This is something I've always wanted to do. People always ask me, oh, why don't you do like graphic novels or comics or anything like that, or a webcomic or whatever. And I've always tried and always just sort of given up. I'd love to actually properly write a script and then eventually get around to illustrating it. I think that'd be great. Another thing I have on here is more YouTube videos, so hey, how's it going? More YouTube videos, that's what I'm working on. I don't know if I'd ever want to be like a YouTuber, you know, necessarily. Like, I like my job at the museum, and I like actual work, because I'm really lazy when I stay home all day, but I'd like to do more YouTube videos. I just find it's fun to connect with people this way. I also have in here start an Etsy shop, which is kind of debatable. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to that one or not, just because in general selling things might not be the best route for me right now. So that might be a put it off till next year thing, but it's there in case I get around to it. I also have in here steady Patreon upload schedule, which if you're a patron, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I did okay. I did okay this year. I definitely fell off the bus at the end there, which, like, my life was kind of falling apart, so that's fair, but I do want to revamp my Patreon and sort of make it a little bit more manageable for myself and, like, a little bit better for my patrons. Well, obviously I want to make it better for my patrons. That's dumb, but you know what I mean. I just want to do better. I have in here, I also want to try and design some stickers for this year. Well, not even just stickers, buttons, pins, shirts, all that sort of fun stuff. Anything you can put a phrase on, I'd love to do, but stickers in particular, just because I feel like they might be a little bit easier to do. I also have on here, learn to use dip pens, which, like, if you don't know what a dip pen is, it's very much like the traditional type of pen, where you have just like a metal nib that goes into a holder and then you actually dip it in liquid ink. I'd love to work with dip pens a little bit more. I think they give a really unique texture to the piece that you can't get with felt pens, and I think that'd be great. I have in big bold here as well that I want to sell something I've already made. So, as you may know, I do commissions. Ask me to draw a character, give me money, and I'll do it. But I also would really like to sell something that I've already made. Like, I have all of these Inktober prints just sort of sitting in a box, collecting dust, and it's like, I don't want to sell them, that's my Inktober stuff, but, like, what am I gonna do with them? I don't know, I just think it'd be something that would be nice, and would help me feel a little bit better about treating my art as a business. It would be if I could actually sell something that I already made that I didn't have to custom make. And finally, for now, I have buy more art, which might be a little bit difficult considering all of my money is going to cat diabetes right now, but still something that I would like to work towards is I want to buy more art from other people. This is not just Artist Alley at comic conventions and stuff like that, because I already do spend quite a bit of money there. I absolutely love Artist Alley. But this is also just like if I go to a farmer's market and there's someone selling stuff there, or like whatever. I want to support more local artists in particular, because I know how much it means to me if someone buys something from me, you know? But that's pretty much all I have. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you consider subscribing or becoming a patron if you're not already, or maybe follow me on Instagram. I'll take that. But anyways, here is to 2019. May it not suck as much as 2018 did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.